This channel is supported by TrueFire. TrueFire is an online library of lessons from some of my favourite players. There's thousands of lessons on there. You can use the promo code JNC40 to get 40% off of any of their courses. Channel. Please, if you find this sort of stuff interesting, if you're a Helix player or HX Stomp player, feel free to like and subscribe. I think you'll find loads of other stuff on the channel which might help you dialing in tones and stuff like that. I wanted to do a video today kind of looking at 4 of my favourite amp models within the Helix. I thought maybe instead of doing kind of one-on-one, we could do like a little bit of a video where we sort of have a compilation of a few tones within one preset. So if you wanted this Helix preset, jump onto the Gumroad. There are 4 amps in it, and 4 amps obviously are the ones that I'm going to talk about in this video, obviously. Right, so let's start off with the Mesa Boogie Lone Star. I had to sell my amp actual in real life for this. I really love this amp. Dave Grohl, Andy Timmons are among the kind of users of it. But what it has going for it, it has this really high headroom, bubbly kind of slightly beyond Fender clean, where it's got just tons of heft, sort of not totally dissimilar to a 2-rock. And then when you kind of boost it, you get these beautiful kind of creamy, clean tones that can go into a little bit of overdrive. Lovely for clean playing and lovely for kind of boosted clean playing, sort of that John Mayer sort of thing maybe. Sticking with the Mesa Boogie Lone Star, there is full videos on the actual Mesa Boogie Lone Star on the channel and kind of dialing in if you want to look for those, but I really love the drive channel as well. The drive channel has a few things going on. Basically, it's got 3 settings. This is all controlled by the thick, the normal, thick, thicker switch. So normal is kind of a black face kind of drive. Thick is more of a plexi kind of bass drive, and then thicker is basically hinting towards Mesa Boogie Mark type tones, that kind of classic thick low to gain type thing. I think this lead channel is super versatile, definitely one to spend a bunch of time with, but basically can sound really great. Andy Timmons used to use it, but I think he now uses pedals generally live into the clean channel. since it is sort of mark topography, you can consider leaving the bass pretty low down. You don't really need to add too much of that in. Treble and mid are also gain controls, but it sounds really decent, I think. Moving on from the Mesa Boogie Lone Star, the derailed Ingrid in the Helix, there are videos on this as well. I think it's probably one of my favourite amps in here, probably top 2 maybe. This is based on a real amp made by Ken Fisher called Ingrid. Dan Ball, who has done consulting work with Line 6, actually had this amp for a while. You can see a YouTube video where he's playing it, and they modelled it off of this real amp. Basically, you can think of this as just a really, really souped up kind of amp, and it sort of sounds like an amp if you've got a fuzz going into it. You don't really need pedals with this amp. It sounds crazy with the gain sort of around 5, 6. The master volume as well, apparently the key to these amps is that they had a pretty bonkers transformer in them, and as you crank the master volume, you get even more gain. Also, at the end of the parameters, you've got a bright switch, which really can bring the amp to even more life, and especially if you're kind of backing off your volume knob, you probably want to have that bright switch on 1 or 2, and that is a part of the amp that it took me a while to find, but I think that can really bring it even more to life and get you some of that sizzle and some of that spank coming through to your notes, even with oodles of gain. A great amp, the derailed Ingrid. Last of all, because we've done, although that's the same amp in real life, the 2 Lone Stars technically in the Helix are 2 amps, so I can fit 4 amps comfortably into a preset on the Helix, so that's what I wanted to do. The divided by 13 JRT 9 by 15, this is actually a divided duo in the Helix. It's based on this amp, which is kind of a little bit of a weird little thing, which is kind of one side 6v6 based, so sort of Fender Princeton, Fender Deluxe reverb, and then the other side EL84, EL34 based, so you get this kind of crossover between British and American, which I guess is quite a common thing within the amp world, but you can actually run both sides at the same time, so you can get this really kind of cool dual blended dual amp type tone from just one model. So you could have, you know, a more driven kind of Fendery tone, or a more driven kind of Marshally tone, or blend the two, have one running cleaner than the other. So give that a try as well. I think the divided duo is one that I should spend more time with, because it does these beautiful kind of in-between tones that are quite uncommon. that's just some of the amps that I wanted to pick out for this video. I think going forward, there are some other amps that I'd love to talk about. Let me know if this format works for you. But the introduction there, I was using this preset and just switching between those four. And the preset is really simple, actually. All I've got at the very start is an air apparent, so the Analog Man Prince of Tone. And at the end, I've got a bit of slapback delay and a glitch reverb and a single cab. So it's a really straightforward preset. It's really the amps are doing all of the work here. But yeah, you can then go between snapshots and have, you know, any of those amps on and switch between them. I think it's quite a beautiful palette of tones, even quickly putting that together. So yeah, the Lone Star, Drive and Clean, I think are definitely worth your time looking. The Derailed Ingrid, I'd really encourage you, whatever style you play, if you like a bit of gain or if you like a ton of gain, the Derailed Ingrid, an amazing amp. And then the Divided Duo, which can do this kind of transatlantic kind of thing where it's a bit of all kinds of amps and you get these lovely blended tones even from one amp model. Again, I hope this was useful for you. Feel free to like and subscribe. Gumroad will be the place to get these. I'll also put together 4 HX Stomp presets if I can. So instead of having them all in one Helix preset, you could have them in 4 HX Stomp presets. I hope that'll be useful for you. I might even be able to fit it into 2. But you'll be able to tweak these and hopefully get some fun out of this as well. I'll catch you in another video soon. Cheers.